Hey Fruit Faces, it is Claryberry. Hopefully I'm out of the wind here. There's kind of loud wind, so I did a little test to record and it wasn't exactly working very well whenever the wind picked up. Otherwise you could hear me, but I think this will be a little bit better. I'm like in a little nook in a little school. Josh is at practice. And I just wanted to talk with you guys. I know Durianrider's getting a lot of slack, or flack, I guess, not slack. Some people are cutting him slack, but other people aren't. But I wanted to talk about it in specific regard to his ideas about whole foods. And, you know, it's very, very easy to take the mentality of purity is best. I mean, perfection is something that we all kind of get sucked into striving for at one point or another, and hopefully, you know, as mature adults we come to realize that it's just not even healthy to strive for perfection. And I think that goes for your diet as well. If you guys look through, you know, my videos, and if you look through my Instagram, Claryberry on Instagram, just the same, and all of that type of stuff, you'll really see, or even my Facebook page, I have a whole album, multiple albums over the years dedicated to my food. And you'll see that overall I like to have a really, you know, really healthy diet, but of course, you know, some of my choices aren't the best, just like everybody else, you know. And I've been called out for that, you know. People are like, oh my god, you eat at Subway, like your diet's shit. Like, okay, whatever, you're eating dead animal flesh, like, come on. Anyway, this video again is specifically about the idea that whole food purity is like a thing that we actually need to strive for. This is just my personal experience and my thoughts about it, and why I don't strive for a completely whole food plant-based diet, even though I would say that it probably would be optimal. Now, I've done videos about this recently, about the raw vegan diet, and how, like, yeah, we all know that like raw foods are great for you, and if you limit yourself to a raw food diet, you're actually cutting out a lot of foods that are unhealthy automatically. But it's kind of my perspective is that it's an extra step that doesn't need to be taken, because you can still get really healthy, really pure foods that are vegan, that are cooked, you know. And then if you look at it in this other light, well, the next step, if I was going to go like a step down on the purity level, yeah, I would say, okay, well, if you've got to be cooked, incorporate, and I did say this, you know, incorporate in sweet potatoes. It's like one of the first things, and pumpkins. It's like one of the first cooked foods that if you're, say you're coming from a raw vegan diet and you're stepping down backwards, you know, that was one of the first things to go for. That's great. You know, if you want to be a raw vegan, or be a raw vegan who only eats like pumpkins and squash and stuff like that, then that's great. I'm sure you could be really healthy if you're one of those types of vegans who is like living on an island. You've like secluded yourself from temptations. You don't really hang out with people who aren't completely in the vegan cult, you know, and all of that stuff. Like, if you're not living in the real world, basically, it might be pretty easy for you. You know, you're gonna feel great, you're gonna eat food, and if you have an abundance of those foods, then fuck yes, you know, go for it. Like, I'm not saying that it's bad to do that. I just think that, again, this channel is all about how to help real world people go and stay vegan. So I think that, again, even going whole food plant-based is an extra additional step that doesn't even need to be taken for the benefits that it would seemingly have. And again, it kind of goes back to, I compare it a lot to raw veganism, because like with raw veganism, people are like, they say they're raw vegan and they're counting down the days, like, oh my gosh, you know. And it's like, you're eating spices that have been cooked. You're eating like vinegar, you know, different things that have been processed and cooked. Like, it's not really raw. Like, get over yourself. But also, it's the same thing with cooked foods and processed foods, whole foods. And Durianrider makes this point very succinctly to me, and it's kind of helped me formulate this standpoint and kind of get out of that mentality of, oh, I only want to eat pumpkin because it's so pure and everything else is just trash. Like, first of all, I believe in cheat days, and I always say this: treats, not cheats. That's my hashtag. I believe that you should have different levels of treats. Like, you should have like a stressed out weekday treat, level. You should have like a weekend treat level. You should have like a maybe like a once a month treat level, and then you should have like, you know, once every, like only once or twice a year, you know, type of tweet levels. So I think that giving yourself that freedom, I think that if you only try to be really, really stuck in, you know, certain eating habits the whole year round, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to end up flipping upside down. You're going to end up like Nicocado avocado and just saying, fuck it, I'm not even vegan because this is too hard, too difficult, burnt me out, I don't even like it, I don't enjoy it, I lost sight of why I'm doing it, that sort of thing. And it's just not that, it's not going to be that noticeable. Like if you have a bowl of like white rice or like pasta once a week, fucking who cares, you know, like, and you're eating mostly, you know, high carb, low fat, raw vegan, mostly whole foods. Obviously, yeah, it's a good thing to go for, but for you to label yourself, and just the idea of labeling yourself in general is like ridiculous in a way. Like I like the vegan label because it draws the line where it needs to be drawn, but besides that, it's kind of like, and I like the Neo Paleo label because the way I've created it, so it's my baby, you know, like I've created it to be something that is very fluid, because again, we are opportunist. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about Neo Paleo, please check out my playlist. It's based off of Miocene, not the Miocene, but the Miocene eras where our digestive systems were forming and all of that. And it's really like our ideal, you know, it's how our bodies were made. It's what our bodies were made to eat. But yeah, our bodies are made to be able to eat things that aren't as great for you. But again, I think for your mind and just for, sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need a break from healthy eating. You need a break from all planning. You need a break from the monotony and all of that. So I really kind of recommend, you know, like at least having different layers of splitting. You don't have to go eat fried French fries and all this shit for your splurges. That's why I said treats, not cheats. You want to have like healthier splurges that you may not allow yourself every day, but I think that it's definitely healthy. And I've been accused of being orthorexic before, for sure. But I think that's where I draw the line. I feel like if I was going strictly whole food plant-based, like I would go crazy, you know, like I said, fall off the wagon, eventually go orthorexic, and B, to me it's hypocritical, because when you think about whole foods, and this is again the point that Harley makes a lot, whole foods are not as whole as we think they are. You want to say you're eating a whole food, but you have a smoothie. Granted, that food might have been whole when you ate it in the beginning, but it's not whole anymore, and it is processed. And if you look at the definition of what like a refined food is, or if you look at the definition of refined, it basically just means that you're taking away, you're doing something, you're either removing or getting rid of unwanted elements of something by processing. And so if you look up what the word processing means, it just means the mechanical or chemical operations to change or preserve. Okay? So even though you may not be cooking something, even though you may not be eating something that is highly refined, basically you're always processing or refining your foods in some way or another, because you can't eat whole foods. And I mean, it's impossible, you know. And like that's what I was saying about the real world. Like in this day and age, it's impossible to live like that. Like I couldn't imagine trying to put myself through that extra stress. And again, it's not worth it for the benefits, because a little bit of rice pasta, a little bit of rice paper, a little bit of white rice, a little bit of, you know, I don't even know, like whatever else is going to be a cereal, you know. Yeah, it's not the most optimal thing, but our bodies are going to be okay with it, you know. If that's not all you're eating every single day and you're having cereal as a treat, you know, a couple times a week, fuck it, that's fine. And like I said, the mechanical or chemical operations to change or preserve something, I mean, hell, that's literally picking food off a tree, chewing food with your mouth, blending up into a smoothie, cutting it up into bite-sized pieces for your salad. Like, where can you actually draw the line to actually say you're eating whole foods? It's impossible. It's meaningless. This whole starch, I don't even know what it is, whole food starch based, like, yeah, again, it's a great idea, but you're getting away from where the focus needs to be, just like I said in my raw vegan video. The benefits of that, yeah, aim for that Monday through Friday, but don't be so strict on yourself that you're going hungry when you don't have the opportunity to have a supposedly whole food source. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's like me and GMO foods. Like, yeah, I fucking hate GMO. In theory, I would rather go hungry than eat a GMO food, but in reality, fuck no. And I don't operate in theory. I don't live in the in my head, you know. I don't live with these unrealistic expectations. If I'm fucking hungry, I will eat that GMO food because I know I need carbs. I will try to make it whole food, high carb, low fat. But if it's got a little fat, I'm going to eat it anyway. If it's GMO, I'm going to eat it anyway. If I need those carbs. And that is the thing that I think is ingenious about what Harley has come up with and what he does, because really when it comes down to it, the basis, the bottom line, yeah, focus on fruit. That's great. Focus on these whole foods all day long, but don't restrict. Restriction is the devil. And the thing is in our society, restriction is so prevalent anyways that we need to eliminate that in every other way, shape, and form. We need to focus on the main thing, which is carbs and sugars and calories, because that is what matters. That's what keeps us going. That's what keeps us sane. That's what keeps us good parents. That's what keeps us working, making money, making, activism, YouTube videos, whatever, like keeping us exercising so that we can be healthy, so that we can be examples. And I strongly, firmly believe that leading by example as vegans is like the biggest thing that we can do. And if we get burnt out, if we're not being able to deal with our lifestyles, if we're going mental, like it just doesn't set a good example. If we're constantly doubting ourselves or trying to go back and forth between, oh, I'm trying to go raw, I'm trying to do this, and it's not succeeding, like that's not the message that we need to send. We need to send the message of we're thriving, we are kicking ass on the ski slopes or the bike races or whatever we're doing. And like everybody's talking about pre-workout, all this shit. Your sugar is your pre-workout. That's what your body needs. Your body doesn't need caffeine. Your body doesn't run off caffeine, despite what apparently everyone in the world thinks these days, Like your body runs off of sugar. Even your brain. People are so confused as to, because our brain is made up of fats, they think it runs off of fats, but no, it actually runs off of glucose, just like the rest of your body. And I notice if I even get a little bit undercarbed, that my brain doesn't work as well. And in order to argue with these stupid ass motherfucker carnists all over the place, we need to be on our motherfucking game. And that's why I'm thankful to Durianrider, and I still follow what he has to say about health and stuff, because it's worked for me, it's working for me, it resonates with me, and I really feel like he knows what he's talking about. And after 3.5 years, going on 4 years of veganism, mostly high carb, low fat veganism, like this is where it's at. This is what the deal is. So don't let yourself restrict. Constantly, have to fight the urge, even though I was never even a huge calorie restrictor. This is why it's so easy to find these things, to find raw veganism and focus on weight loss, and even find this whole food, low fat, whole food plant-based thing, and say, and it just, once you start doing that, once you start restricting, it creeps in a little bit more. It happened to me. I literally found myself actively, just lately, striving to eat lower calories. And I'm like, wait a second, what the fuck am I doing? This goes against everything I teach, everything I say. And I had to stop myself. And it was because I was trying to get into this really pure, like, ideal and all of that. You just really have to watch yourself, because if you're not actively getting better, you're not gonna stay the same. You're gonna get worse. I always tell my kids that. And it's easy to slip. It's easy to fall. It's easy to let yourself go and not pay attention to what your mind is playing tricks on yourself and trying to let yourself do. And it's easy for even really, really smart and knowledgeable people to, like I said, use these kind of purity things to try to basically restrict calories without admitting to themselves that they are restricting calories. So let me know if you do this, if you caught yourself doing this. I know sure as hell I've done this before. Oh, I don't have my whole foods, so I just can't eat right now, so I'll just wait till later. No, fuck it. Have your sugar on back up, have your candy, have your gels, whatever you need. Anyways, think I got my point across? Let me know if you have any questions, comments. You can always Tumblr me anonymously if you don't want me to know who's asking questions. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Snapchat is Miss B Face, spelled out Miss, the letter B, and yeah, face. So anyway, thumbs up if you enjoyed this, thumbs down if not, let me know why. And don't forget to eat your fruit. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.